Friends, on the night of 2nd 3rd January 2026, the world woke up to a shocking news. The Venezuelan president Nicolás Maduro and his wife Force was kidnapped by the US president. The Delta Force stormed into their bedroom, picked them up in their night dresses and put them on USS Zima, which was parked off the Venezuelan coast. And before that, it was the Panaman premier Manuel Noriega who was picked up like this. The charges against Maduro by the US are for narco-terrorism, and Trump says that he has been pumping dopes into US, and US since his election in 2024 has not been accepting him as president because it is said that the complete elections were rigged. And Maduro was considered as the head of a narco-terrorist organization called the Carlos de los Oros. So here we see US not as the big brother but as the big bully, because it is very strange that Venezuela, being a sovereign nation, and here we have another country carrying out a secret operation and picking up the supposedly reigning president from his bedroom. And now Trump has been doing arm twisting with many countries. He says he was not happy with India also because we were buying Russian oil. But now he says Modi ji is an intelligent man because we have lessened buying the oils, and tariffs which were supposed to go up has been stagnated. Trump has also threatened Cuba and Colombia if they do not toe the American line, and he is desirous of taking over Greenland, to which Denmark has said that it will see the end of NATO and will also stand up for its land, because the Danish army is responsible for the security of Greenland with the assistance of NATO, to which US is also a part. Though Trump says it is for his own national security because that is one area from where the Russian fleets can creep in towards Northern America. But is that any reason for him to go around bullying smaller countries because he is technologically more advanced? So keep watching this video till the end so that you can get an idea how Maduro was picked up from his bedroom, and also what is happening to him and where is he, and how the operation was carried out, and whether Venezuela is happy or not. So while you keep seeing the video, also give a thought of joining our foundation, the Uma Dream Foundation, where we teach the underprivileged children, and also purchase something from Sonajuri Arts, where we promote the artisans of Bengal and showcase their art. Every purchase helps somebody poor and needy. So please go ahead. Now going on to the video, Maduro, who was corrupt and was running his cartel, has pleaded not guilty in the New York court that he was produced for all the charges that were against him. But in his country, he was reigning from 2013, and the complete history of Venezuela has been given in my video, which was put up on the channel a few months back. And Venezuela came into limelight because it has got the largest oil reserves, the biggest in the world. And America had put sanctions on them selling this oil to other people because they were not towing the American line and American companies were not allowed to operate there. And Maduro was holding on to power with all kind of willy-nilly means. Venezuela had gone into poverty. Machado, who got the Nobel Peace Prize, is said to be backed by the US and is the only opposition that Maduro had, has not commented on this kidnapping. So the US wants many of its foes to go out from power and also have regime changes in country and put regimes which will toe their line. And Venezuela was not towing the American line, so these blasts were done across its capital Caracas and diversionary attacks done on military establishments, and Maduro picked up, so that now the government which is there as officiating will be completely towing the American line. The US has long accused Maduro of leading a criminal trafficking organizations, something which he has been denying, and also has been designated as a foreign terrorist group, which I talked about, the Cartel de los Soles, a name the US uses to describe the group of elites in Venezuela who are allegedly orchestrating illegal activities like drug trafficking and illegal mining. So now, after having been picked up, he faces a US trial over weapons and drugs charges. For years, Maduro's government had been accused of human rights abuses also. In 2020, the UN investigators said its government had committed egregious violations amounting to crimes against humanity, such as extrajudicial killings, torture, violence and disappearances. And Maduro's top officials were implicated. These organizations have recorded hundreds of political prisoners in the country, including some detained after anti-government protests. There are reasons many in and outside the country wanted him to see as gone, despite him still having some loyal followers. Like I said, the US had not carried out any direct intervention in Latin America since the 1989 invasion of Panama to depose the then military ruler Manuel Noriega. But then the Washington had framed this as a wider crackdown on drug trafficking and criminality. But the complete thing is against the UN Charter, because another country is implicating itself into the functionalities of another sovereign state, which is totally against the UN Charter, and UN is silent on the whole thing, which shows that it has lost its validity. Because US does what it wants, carries out against any charter that is there in place. So a food for thought, does the US have any utility in today's world, or should it be done away with? You can please give it in the comments below so that we can rake our brains on this. Because India is trying for a seat in the Security Council for an organization which is seemingly losing its utility. But here we have Venezuela also accusing the US of wanting to steal its oil reserves, the largest in the world, like I said, and other resources, an allegation it felt was vindicated after the US seized at least 2 oil tankers off the coast. The strikes and the capture come after months of US military escalation in this region. The US had sent its biggest military deployment in decades to the region, comprising warplanes, thousands of troops, helicopters, and world's largest warship. It has carried out dozens of strikes on alleged small drug trafficking vessels in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, killing at least 110 people. So it remains deeply unclear of what will happen to Venezuela next, though Trump has said that US will run Venezuela in the way it wants and will not stop at putting the boots onto the ground. Though Maduro's deputy, Ms. Rodriguez, is put into power as the officiating president, and also she has made a comment that she is ready to work with the opposition, that is Machado, and also toe to American ideas. However, some are happy and very few sad because Maduro did have loyalists, but then the common citizen are happy because they were leading a life of poverty, because they did not have the basics of healthcare and sanitation. This was not available to them during Maduro's time, and all the elites were getting the privileges. So this has been seen as a welcome change, but then we'll have to keep watching what happens in the future and what is America's modus operandi with Venezuela, and also how it plans to take over the vast oil reserves. Now moving on, I will just talk about a little on what happened that day. So this operation, which resulted in Maduro getting captured, was a masterclass in surgical warfare and was done with speed, precision, and the primary factors were the Delta Force, which is America's supreme commandos, which they are called upon for any counter-terrorism activities to rescue prisoners in other countries, and they did not act alone. They relied on the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, which are known as the Night Stalkers, and their pilots can fly low and fast in complete darkness with night vision devices, disrupting the radars, and the entire force was done by USS Gerald Ford's, which is an aircraft carrier which was there in the sea to monitor the complete airspace and blockade any military intervention by Venezuela. They had MH-47s and MH-30s, which were along the complete Venezuelan coast, and then these night stalkers flew low at treetop levels, and these workhorses or the direct action penetrators along with M134 miniguns and rockets landed the Delta Force onto the palace, and silently they operated and captured Maduro in his night suit along with his wife and put them on USS Jima, which was off the Venezuelan coast. They were transported in choppers which were ready to pick them up. And then diversionary attacks were carried out with blasts in the capital of Caracas, along with attacks on military establishments. While the Venezuelan military moved towards these areas, the palace was seemingly unguarded, and this complete activity was being done for the last 1 year with agents of FBI and CIA watching Maduro's activity, and 3 of his guards were supposedly compromised. Their families' re-establishment in the US, and these bodyguards, though seemingly loyal, had lost faith in Maduro and the system in Venezuela because of their poor pay and their poor living conditions, while they saw the president enjoying the best of comforts. So this was one of the major reasons why Maduro was needed to fall. And after they were captured, they were taken to New York and kept in a prison till they were produced before the court, and where Maduro has said that I am a decent man, not guilty of anything, and I am the president of my country and not the head of any terrorist organization. And talking about oil, which is Venezuela's main resource, and they are said to be producing presently more than 2 million barrels a day, which is much ahead of any other country. And they have been going up and up, though there has been a recession in between. And these American companies which were not allowed to operate, and Chevron was the main Western oil company which was still operating in the country and produced about a quarter of Venezuelan oil. Earlier in this century, however, other companies were forced out while Chevron stayed, and roughly half of Chevron's production was being exported to the US. But then balance of the oil which US wanted was being given to other countries which US did not like, and sanctions were put onto Venezuela and they were stuck down. So with all these happenings, Trump has shown that he is not only a bully but also a rogue. Maduro, though he has been a corrupt man and running his country like a maverick, but was still heading his own sovereign nation, and US has intervened, which is seemingly wrong as per UN. So now we will have to keep watching what Trump does with other countries which he has been threatening, and how he tries to run Venezuela. Though nobody other than China presently has condemned this action, also our country has kept quiet over it because nobody wants to antagonize friend Trump, because he is supposed to be presently supremo uno. So keep watching my channel for what happens in the future and what happens to these Latin American countries. And also I can help you in developing your personality and improving your life skills so that you can soar in your profession and can be the best. Jai Hind.